What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode here on North Shore 9. The MLB Trade Deadline has officially passed, and of course this means David Bednar is no longer a Pittsburgh Pirate. So for today's episode, Cody and I decided to take a look back down memory lane at David Bednar's Pirates tenure. We look at the positives, we look at the negatives, we go season by season to see how he did, look at the awards he won, his World Baseball Classic run, some crazy facts against the NL Central even too. So we hope you all enjoy this. Like I said, make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like on this video, comment down below some of your favorite David Bednar memories. Let's get into this. Round 35, picked 1,044 out of Mars, Pennsylvania. A Pittsburgh local goes to the San Diego Padres out of Lafayette College in Lafayette, Pennsylvania, by the name of David Bednar. David Bednar, literally no one knew here if you followed the Whippy old much. And he goes to the Padres, is in their minor league system for a while, comes up to the major leagues. 2019, he pitched, put up a 6.55 ERA. 2020, he pitched a little bit in the COVID year, a 7.11 ERA. Then the offseason happened, and Pirates fans were expecting Ben Cherington to tear it all down. And that's what he did. We're still working at that right now, actually. But he did that and sent off Joe Musgrove in a 3-team deal. And amongst the return heading to Pittsburgh was David Bednar and also Andy Rodriguez, but David Bednar. And he comes to Pittsburgh. Everyone doesn't know what to expect, but the whole story was he was from Pittsburgh, and it was very quickly everyone in this town fell in love with him. And this is a special episode because we all know David Bednar at the time of this recording was just traded yesterday. We're going to try to keep this positive here today. We know a lot of us have angry thoughts right now, but this episode is literally just going to be Cody and I just going at it, looking at his history with the Pirates, some miscellaneous facts, history in the World Baseball Classic like we got here. We got history against the NL Central. So let's get into this. So we're going to start with his career year by year, especially with the Pirates. Two-time All-Star, Roberto Clemente winner. And interesting fact number one, if no one knew, he got a Rookie of the Year vote. Cody brought this up whenever we were setting up the record. He got a Rookie of the Year vote the year Jonathan India won. He got a third place vote. Cody, how about that first Rookie of the Year possible season for Bednar in 2021?
Yeah, a season that, it was nobody really expected them to do anything. That's the beginning-ish of the rebuild. And you kind of start to see this diamond in the rough in the bullpen. And you're like, okay, well, what can this guy be? We also found out that season he had an at-bat. He struck out, but he had an at-bat, something that's rare nowadays, obviously, for pitching, and back then even more rare for a relief pitcher. But yeah, this guy that everybody was happy he was from Pittsburgh. You kind of just rooting for that in itself. Anytime somebody comes to a Pittsburgh sports team that is from the area, you want them to succeed, and we eventually saw him do that here.
Yeah, it's something about the city of Pittsburgh in general. And it's a lot of other sports towns. And Pittsburgh being the small market it is in general in the sports world, when you have a guy from your hometown make it, I think it's a little bit more special in these smaller towns like Pittsburgh or even like places in Ohio, Indianapolis, that type of stuff. But seeing a pitcher, we saw it with Neil Walker, and we're seeing it with Donnie Kelly right now as the manager of the team. But David Bednar to be this closer, the guy shutting the door on a lot of these teams, he quickly became a fan favorite. In 2021, he had a 2.23 ERA. I brought up the COVID year. It was at a 7-11, like the gas station. He brought it down drastically. And out of the 5 seasons he was in Pittsburgh, only one of those he was above a 3. One of those. This guy has been such a great closer. And that year he had a 2.1 WAR. So going into the 2022 season, Bednar officially became what I would say the guy to close the games for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And he seemed to be the guy ever since the greats of like Mark Melancon and Jason Grilli out of those prime Bucco bullpens in the playoff runs. So Bednar becomes a fan favorite, I would say, definitely in 2022. He becomes a first-time All-Star, a 1.3 WAR, a 2.61 ERA, 19 saves at the time is his highest of his career. This, of course, would be past the next year. But first-time All-Star, he was there by himself in 2022. What do you think about this season of Bednar's career? And what I would say is the kickoff of what you could say is this the surgence of him.
Yeah, you said it pretty well. It's kind of solidified Bednar as the closer for the Pittsburgh Pirates going forward. Again, you also said the only All-Star for the Pirates in a season where they had 100 losses. So very much a bright spot in a dark time of Pirates history.
But moving on to 2023 very briefly, this by far is the best year of Bednar's career. We all thought it was like, okay, closers can be replaceable. And you're like, okay, let's see if Bednar can keep it up. Bednar puts up an ERA of 2, the lowest of his career, and that's still going right now. A 2.6 WAR, which is the highest of his career, which is still going. And he had 39 saves, the highest of his career, in 67 and a third innings. 80 strikeouts, the highest of his career, and he becomes an all-star for the second year in a row, this time not by himself. He's joined by Mitch Keller in Seattle. But yeah, by far the best year of Bednar's career. And honestly, it was started, and we'll get to the next thing, what he did in 2023 right after this. But 2023, I think this was the year you knew you had a guy.
Yeah, and I mean, you kind of saw a parallel with him and the team. This was the team's best record with or under Ben Cherington, going with 76 wins. And he really did solidify himself here. This is where you were like, all right, bullpen's great. Like, if we are in a situation at the back end of a game where we're up by 1, David Bednar's your guy. He brought his value up, which we'll get into value of him later, but just a great opportunity for a Pittsburgh guy once again to be leading this team and to hopefully, what at this time we had hoped would lead them to some more success, but alas.
Look at him now. Yeah, and not to mention 2023, we got the first rendition, I think it was, of Yinzer Palooza. And that would bring us the David Bednar It Plays Renegade bobblehead that I sadly broke literally before we started this recording. It fell off my shelf. So I got to go on eBay and buy one for $500,000 at this point. 2024, though, this was the year the shackles, I guess, started to come off with a lot of fans and the ties. People wanted him gone a lot. This was a year where the Bednar defenders, which I think we had a lot of us, were fighting wars on the internet. He put up a 5.77 ERA and 3-8 record, 23 saves, a negative 0.9 WAR, which is completely the lowest of his career. Previous low was a negative 0.2 in 2019 with the Padres. So this is literally the worst he's looked with the Pirates. And I think the capping off of this bad season was the infamous him getting booed out of his home stadium. And you know what? Part of me doesn't think it was all him. It might have been a Shelton thing too. People booing Shelton, not keeping him in too long. But what made it worse was the infamous "We Don't Do That Here" by Rowdy Tellez.
So this is a year, like I said previously, where the value comes into the conversation, right? The value goes to its lowest point with him with the Pirates, and this is where you have the war that we fought, right? Where people were on one side saying he's from here, he's going to figure it out, just let it, let him be, let him figure it out. And then the other side is saying you should have traded him in the offseason for someone who could help. I think you and I both are kind of on the side of I'm glad he stayed. And that's not even in hindsight. I think in the moment, it's a Pittsburgh guy. You want to root for him to be better, and you want him to be better here. But that season, the team itself regressed as well. Only 74 wins. In a year where you thought they might take a step forward. You might see 80 games, 80 wins. But Bednar in that season, obviously, it was frustrating. And it was very odd, the booing, when he got booed early in the season. Like, obviously, yes, it's a situation that probably shouldn't have happened. We all know how much I despise Derek Shelton.
Not Neil.
But not Neil. Neil loves him. Neil thinks he's great. But anyway, Derek Shelton had this issue, in my opinion, of leaving guys in too long and being like, you know what, he's going to figure it out. And sometimes you got to have a guy's back, especially at this point, a veteran in David Bednar. I understand leaving a rookie out there and saying, figure it out, kid. But David Bednar, at this point in his career, is the established closer of the Pittsburgh Pirates. And as the manager, should have had his back. But without that, we don't get that infamous moment with Rowdy Tellez.
Oh, that was an awesome moment. And
also, going even further, you may not find guys like Dennis Santana that could come into this team. And I mean, I know 2024, Dennis Santana wasn't this elite back end of the bullpen guy that we see him as now, but this unfortunate season for David Bednar did allow the Pittsburgh Pirates to find more pitching going forward.
Moving on though to this season, 2025, the infamous last half season of David Bednar as a Pirate. A 2.37 ERA since he hasn't pitched for the Yankees yet at the time of us recording. A 1.3 WAR. 17 saves, 38 innings. It started out rough. We all saw the Miami Marlins series. It was practically a blown save every single game. There was, of course, we all know there's some defensive issues in the outfield. Colin Holderman as well. We all know where Colin Holderman is now. But Bednar starts to struggle. He gets sent down to Indianapolis. And we're all like, and of course, the trade Bednar crowd is screaming they should have did it in 2023. And at the time, it's like, okay, we've lost the war. The Bednar defenders have lost the battle. But then the phoenix in the ashes rises. I don't even know how to explain this. Bednar becomes a beast again, puts up his best WAR. He's tied with a 1.3 in his first All-Star year. If he didn't start out so rough, Cody, I could argue he would be an All-Star this year. He'd probably be in consideration, him and Dennis Santana. I know Paul Skeens is going to be the only All-Star for years to come, but if there were other relievers that could have been picked, it was him, Bednar, and Santana. Bednar is having a great year this year. I'm wishing him nothing but the best with the Yankees. I'm hoping if the Yankees have to win a ring, I want him closing out that World Series game because Devin Williams hasn't been that hot with them. So I'm wondering if Bednar is going to be their guy or if they're going to use him in the 8th inning or just high leverage. I'm wondering what their plan is. But, man, the resurgence of Bednar this year, ever since his call-up, him going on this scoreless inning streak, was awesome. I don't know how else to explain it. This was a great comeback story, and I think a great way to cap off his Pirates career.
Yeah, no, the 2025 season for David Bednar really embodied what it meant to be a Pittsburgher. Pittsburgh was this steel town back in the day. This town covered in smog. Nobody wanted to go here. Nobody wanted to visit. It wasn't what it is today. And they eventually brought themselves out of the ashes. You know, it's now a thriving, technology hub, Pittsburgh. And Bednar really did that with his career in one season. He saw himself in the smog. He saw himself at his lowest point where nobody wanted him. He goes down to Indianapolis, figures it out, comes back up, and he has to earn it. He wasn't given that spot back. He had to pitch in some low leverage situations and find himself back in the spot where he plays best. I can't say enough good things about David Bednar.
He did something special in 2023. So in the 2017 World Baseball Classic, the Pirates were represented by multiple players. They had Josh Harrison, Andrew McCutchen. They had Starling Marte and Gregory Polanco make it. I think Cervelli was a guy for Team Italy. David Bednar, I got the jersey right here. It's safe, everyone. It doesn't say Pirates on it. It was a good purchase. I can wear it whenever. He made Team USA the only Pirate to make Team USA. And here's a little bit of his stats right now. He pitched in 4 innings. I mean, it's not a long tournament. Now, the whole thing is this is basically their spring training. He pitched a lot high leverage because he was pitching very important games. He only allowed 1 run, 5 strikeouts in 4 innings, and the 1 run was a homer. It was an absolute nuke against Venezuela. And like I said, Cody, if I remember right, it was Luis Arias who was having an unbelievable World Baseball Classic in 2023. Yeah. But man, it was so fun to see this guy pitch against the world's best. Like, honestly, very briefly, we wanted to go through Bednar's stats versus the NL Central because it's just fun to look at. And then you have some fun little tidbits against the 2 stadiums he's never allowed to run in. So Bednar against these 4 NL Central foes. The Brewers, he struggled the most against, a 3.6 ERA, 9 saves. The Cubs, a 3.18, 35 appearances, 8 saves. The Reds, a 2.45 ERA, 29 strikeouts, 15 saves. You ready for the Cardinals here? The record of 1-1, 27 appearances, 12 saves, 28 strikeouts, an ERA of 1.19. And Cody, could you read the miscellaneous facts about his stats in Busch Stadium for everyone watching right now?
He has 16.2 innings pitched. He's allowed 10 hits, 5 runs, but only 3 earned. And he has 14 strikeouts in Busch Stadium.
Dominance. He owns the Cardinals.
He does.
Of course, that isn't counting his career. I just gave up his career numbers. That's, of course, including PNC Park. But this guy, he's a Cardinals killer. We just did the Pirates Killers draft. If you haven't watched that video, if you did a Cardinals one, this is probably one of the best picks you can make from the Pirates' perspective. Cody, let the people watching wherever they are, what are the 2 teams he's never allowed to run against in their ballpark?
So the 2 NL teams he's never allowed to run in their ballpark are the Philadelphia Phillies at Citizens Bank Park and the Atlanta Braves at Truist Park. He has never allowed an earned run in either of those stadiums.
That's awesome.
Fun stat. He only has 1 career balk, which I thought was interesting.
Awesome.
So by ERA with the Pittsburgh Pirates, David Bednar's best ERA and quote-unquote best catcher would be Tyler Heineman. He pitched to him in 17.2 innings, a 0 ERA. Gave up only 8 hits, and 2 of those being doubles, and that's the worst that it got with Tyler Heineman. 5 walks and 25 strikeouts. He threw the most strikeouts to Jacob Stallings. He earned the worst ERA, though, with a current Pittsburgh Pirate.
Can you guess who it is? Yeah.
Sorry, I said it too
You're
quickly.
good. Spoilers down below.
So yeah, just, I know a lot of people analytics wise, they want to see catcher ERA, all these things. Well, this is what David Bednar did with the catchers of the Pirates of years past. I
don't see A-tier trade Austin Hedges on that list.
Austin Hedges, he had a 3.67 ERA with Austin Hedges, recorded 32 strikeouts, 6 walks, gave up 3 home runs, 8 doubles, 26 total hits, all in 27 innings.
If I'm not mistaken, that was Bednar's best year of his career too, with Austin Hedges, 2023.
Right.
I'm not defending Austin Hedges, everybody. This was just a joke.
How dare you?
Do not comment down below. I am sorry. But yeah, David Bednar, I think everyone in Pittsburgh is going to miss you. I think we can all agree. There were ups. There were a little bit of downs, but a lot more ups than the downs. Cody, parting words.
Yeah, I think David Bednar had a great career with the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's a shame that it's cut short. But I also think there's a sector of the fan base that got too down on this guy. I think Jim has said it before that, he plays for your team. And on top of that, he's from Pittsburgh. And we should have been rooting for his success, even in his darkest of performances. I've said it already. He represents Pittsburgh very, very well both off the field and in his persona. Like I said, he had the dark days. He had the rising from the ashes, as you said. He really is a hardcore Yinzer, man. Like, he is the guy. And who could forget the infamous moment? I believe it was Yinzer Palooza when he had that save. He went
That
out
was
to the
awesome.
parking lot and he
Yep.
chugged some icy lights with the fans.
Those pictures of him holding the IC lights as his all-star game, like, I'm here. The sit the
Yeah.
F down video we got after the
Yeah,
Cubs
the
series,
F him,
by
F him,
far the
F him.
best moment, I think, of his career. Like, favorite, the game against the Dodgers when they swept the Dodgers in Los Angeles. That was awesome. Man, I think we're all going to miss this guy. A career 6.4 WAR in Pittsburgh. And to close it off, we kind of hinted at the end. Another guy from Pittsburgh, he might be handing off the reins to, and Isaac Mattson. How about, it's just how it works. Who's going to be the next guy from Pittsburgh to be a closer after Mattson? Who knows? What return is Mattson going to get, guys?
And I know, hey, this ain't a Mattson video, but another great Pittsburgh story of a guy who was making a career with the Washington Wild Things, and then finds himself in the major leagues.
They both have awesome stories.
Yeah, I like to call him the Panther. He pounces on you. He just has that intensity. There have been many nicknames given to him. I don't think Panther is going to stick, but we'll find one. He'll earn it, and he'll deserve it.
Yes, well, Cody, it's been fun. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to leave your comments down below. What's your favorite David Bednar memory? Let us know. Maybe we'll post them. Who knows? Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I know we're now partnered with FanDuel, so congrats to all the North Shore 9 gang on that awesome thing. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, David Bednar. And as always, let's go Bucks.